Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to the show. My name is Peter Brooks, and I'm coming to you live from Tyack territory, which today most people know as Maryland. The Native American House Alliance and I, along with the American Indian Society of Washington, D.C., wanted to give a positive message with positive feelings to get things moving in a positive direction for the new year. So we put together this incredible show. Now, many presentations are here from people we do not know, but they all tried to share something positive on YouTube, and we are trying to do the same thing for all the children to start the new year on a positive vibe. And this is not a money-making thing, but we do want to promote the people who contribute to the preservation of this culture and way of life. So, we are going to start things off with Chenawa Igawa and Alex Turtle and the Song for the Sacred Elements. And y'all are just going to have to stay tuned to see where it goes from there.
Let's applaud our flag bearers as they bring in our dancers at this time for our final grand entry. Our native staff, the red, white, and blue, and of course our tribal flag being brought in. The tribal leadership of the Nanacoke Lenape people dancing behind as she's been followed by our headman and head lady dancers for today, our final day here for our celebration. Welcome back to the arena all of our traditional northern, southern, eastern, Iroquois. And they're being followed by our grass dancers, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, boys. Welcome back. The flash and color of any of our celebrations, representing our contemporary movements and dancers. We're talking about our new faces.
Happy New Year, boys and girls, and everybody everywhere. Thank you for joining me for this incredible presentation. Guys, we've got Eugene Blackcrow, who is going to teach us how to count to 3 in Lakota. We've got Grandma Mardella, who is going to tell you something about family history. And the words of Mr. Barry Lee are so important. Well, you just better make sure you're here when he says them, because they're really important and good. So, sit back and relax and enjoy. We're going to start things off with a music video by Mr. Barry Lee's group, Spirit Wing. Enjoy this, and hopefully it gets you in the mood for having a great and wonderful new year. Happy New Year.
By the creek he can be found. Spirit keeper, I'm homeward bound. Through the woods I go the trail. I'm coming back, I will not fail. Climb the rocks over the brook. I turn around to take a look. The tree still stands straight and tall before a creek that is so small. The plop of frogs, the song of birds. I look at my friend without a word. Spirit keeper came to me, shows himself inside the tree. By the creek he can be found. Spirit keeper, I'm homeward bound. The hollow tree beside the creek, the sounds of silence all around. I watch as leaves float to the ground, acorns dropping through the trees, hear the droning of the bees, watch the spiders skim the top as water flows gently through the rocks. Shows himself inside the tree. By the creek he can be found. sunshine fingers through the trees. Spirit keeper talks to me. Tell the world what you have found. Never let life get you down.
My name is Cornelia de Valenza. I am an enrolled member of the Lumbee tribe in Robeson County, North Carolina. And I'd like to say hello to everybody today. My organization is at 1341 Delaware Avenue here in Philadelphia, PA. We're right in front of Penn Treaty Park. And we are a nonprofit, and we're here to serve the Native American community that's here in Philadelphia.
So when you think about Lumbee, the first thing that should pop into your head is unity. Without that unity, we would not be here today. So our people agreed upon the name Lumbee, our connection to the river and to the swamps that kept us safe and kept us out of harm for such a long time. We agreed upon that name Lumbee to encompass those different tribes and all that awesome history that came and settled there. So Lumbee encompasses so many amazing, awesome things. And we're going to show you as much as we can the history and the culture and the songs and the dances that are connected to the Lumbee people. So, out of respect, we always start with our women first. Like most Eastern communities, we are a matrilineal society. That means we go through our mother's line, the keepers of the blood, the keepers of life. Our women run so much. Back in the day and today, I think a lot of the Lumbee women here would agree that they are in charge of their respective households. So, this is going to be a traditional seed planting dance. It ties back into the women's role of giving life. You're going to see them do a shuffling dance with their feet, and they're planting those seeds. They're planting those seeds of life. And so this is how the women reaffirm their place in creation. This is a great, great, great dance. It's done from North Carolina all the way to the New York area and many different Native communities. And so this is how the women really showcase their role as the life givers. And so I always tell them to have good thoughts in their heads. Always have good thoughts when they're planting these seeds and representing this. Whenever we sing these songs and whenever we're presenting to you, just know that we always have good thoughts, and we're really happy to be here in good ways. So.
And now, this message from our sponsor, the Native American House Alliance of Philadelphia.
Of the indigenous countries and the nations, the grand entry. Long before the red, white, and blue became into existence, all of our native nations being represented in this fashion, in this way, the traditional eagle step that is being carried in by Mr. Swimmer from right here in the Eastern Band. A great way. The flag of all of Native America, the staff adorned with eagle feathers. Behind our eagle staff, we have the local Stevie up here, American Legion host. During the honors they have every year that I have been here, during the honors every year that I have been here, during the honors, and I believe the third commander. Oh man. Always here. Always can count on them. Thank you, veterans. Thank you. Mr. Warren Dupree. Thank you. And our royalty from right here, the Eastern Band, on the inside and outside of the arena. And right in the middle is our Miss India, Oklahoma.
See if you can read this story. In fact, grab somebody and show them that you can read this story. Or you read one and then have them read another. But check this story out. As you know, we are here because of the Native American House Alliance of Philadelphia, and they asked Mr. Barry Lee to say something really important to you. And so I want you to listen to every word he says because it is very important. And after him, we'll have Grandma Mardella and some music videos to inspire you. And it's just going to be an awesome awesome new year.
This is one of the first wampum agreements between Native people and the Europeans. It's called Gaswentha, the two-row agreement. It simply means on this river of life, there's two paths. At the time they were talking with the Dutch. There's the path for your ships, and there you keep your religion, your songs, everything that makes you what you are. And in our path, in the canoes, our religions, our songs, everything that makes what they are. Okinawa, the Mohawks were the first ones to be doing this. It's from the year 1613, but the year has absolutely nothing to do with it. And I know history majors, I just gave you cause to go for a second cup of coffee by saying that, because I said dates don't matter, and they really don't. Not when it comes to these. Because this agreement is still with us. We travel side by side on this river of life. Side by side. We don't tell you how to live, you don't tell us how to live, but we'll be there if you need help. And vice versa. We'll be there if you need help, and vice versa. That's what we expect. That's the agreement.
Happy New Year. My name is Ed Phoenix. I am a good friend of Peter Brooks, who's hosting this show, this variety show for the new year. I hope that everyone has a great coming year with lots of good luck and fortune. Today, I am posting a video, or sharing a video, of a native topic, which is the Manitou. And the Manitou is the life force that's in the environment, that's in the air, it's in the water, it's in the trees, and many native people believe in the Manitou. So I want to share my version of what it feels to me. It's a little bit contemporary. I would like to credit Danny Three Bears with his Algonquin prayer, which mentions the Manitou in it. So I hope you enjoy the song, and here it is. Let's check it out.
Napi and time. Manitou, Wami Masagras Manitou. Ken Nuta. Nunapo and a Quabi and Manitou. Tabatni Katamalmish, Niwuji, you, Kisakokonigan. Katamalmish, Niwuji, Wananuyo. Napi and time, the Kisabush, Niwuji, Wani. Kamak, Wanigan. Nina one to the Tantabo, Uchi Wami Medikwash, Washanish, Wanigan Quinabo. Nina one to the Tantabo, Uchi. The Pissapal, Mopatop Wanigan. Nina one to the Tantabo, Uchi, Nishno Kia, the Key Deep Tuka. Danny Three Bears.
thank you for listening to the song, and back to Peter Brooks.
Wow. I hope you learn an important lesson from that, and that is the value of having a friend, if you're not one yourself, who is a musician. It's important because it's an incredible feeling to have someone compose a song just for you and your show like that. That is a true, true friend. And it's an incredible feeling to have a true friend. So, if you don't have one, make a friend of a musician. That's my advice.
To the sounds of our host drum, Key Confederation.
You know, it's really important to know your history. And this is some history which I think is really important. And you can share it with other people and talk about it.
My mom tells me when she was a little girl, she wasn't allowed in public schools because she was an Indian. You know, Indians weren't even citizens of this country till 1924, even though we've been here forever. She wasn't allowed in a public school, so she went to a Catholic school. She tells me about when she was walking home from school or anywhere near the white part of town, the kids would beat her up. She would go home and cry about it. You would think that if a kid went home crying, their parent would comfort them. But times were different then. My grandfather told her to stop crying. He said there was no purpose to crying, and that she needs to learn to fight back, pick something up and fight back for your life. So that's what my mom did. She did that as a little girl, and she did it all through her life. She wouldn't let anyone push her around, especially for being an Indian.
Ni ko Jose na wenge o kispitawe conmigo yakio kana hagai. Tuwelama o ke lanko moke conmigo yakio kana hagai. Good morning. My name is Rico Newman. I'm a member of the Chapico Band of the historic Piscataway Chiefdom. I want to welcome you all here to the homeland of the people today known as the Piscataway. Historically, the Piscataway were comprised of more than 13 different tribes or parts of the nation. Today, we're all known under the singular title of Piscataways.
And that led to this belt, this remarkable agreement. At the Sac-a-Maxon Treaty of 1682, and again, the dates don't matter. They don't even know if this agreement just exactly happened in just one great meeting. Probably didn't. But they always refer to that tree. So I figured, well, that's got something to do with it if it held for that long. Benjamin did kind of a peculiar painting of Philadelphia being pretty well built up at the time. Well, it wasn't at that time. But here's the agreement. This is for every one of us today. You see the native with the feathers on his head and the Englishman without. That's just two individuals, two peoples. Take the native and the Englishman away. Now it's just two peoples. But what it means is that on this land, Penn called everyone God's children. Tamadin, the spokesperson for the native nations that were there, there were several, not only Delaware or Lenape, there was Iroquois representatives, Catawba, Conestoga, Shawanese, Kanoi, Anacoke, they were all there. The diaries of the Swedish actually let us in on that, because that's what they noticed. But here's this agreement, and they're hand in hand, side by side. In Penn's words, we will live together in love and brotherhood. Tamadin agreed. Tamadin's thing is that this great land, this beautiful place, which we could be doing this outside on today, this beautiful place, can you imagine? This was a gift from Kishna Malcolm, the one who creates our thoughts. This great gift to everyone, and everyone belongs. There's no such thing as an alien on land that was given as a gift. And it's for all of you. Not just Lenape who lived here. Tammany didn't believe that. No, the English were welcome because he believed this is a gift. This agreement is still with us. Every one of you belong here. Don't ever let anyone say you do not belong at this place. It is our agreement, and we have a belt to prove it. That this is a solid agreement. Pass it around. Feel the weight of that agreement.
So, as you know, we are all here because of the Native American House Alliance of Philadelphia. We're trying to call out the community, bring everybody together so that we can do good and positive things as a Native community, an Indigenous community. Yeah. And I promised you Grandma Mardella. And I'm going to tell you something. Whatever you got bothering you, Grandma Mardella can probably take it away, because Grandma Mardella's got something really potent and positive to say. Take it away, Grandma Mardella.
So I have not stopped doing what my grandparents did, what my great-grandparents did. And I brag about my mother's people. I take my mother's people from my mother, which ended up being the elder in our family, because her brother, or older brother in the family, was the spokesperson, and he died. So he had passed it on to my mom. So a lot of tribes, they go under their mother's name, not under the father's name. So when they nominated my mother to be in charge of the family, which was 13 in her family, she didn't want it, but she had to take it. That's like becoming a chief. You can't become a chief unless you have a chief. There was a father, grandfather, and we don't do princess. I have 2 crowns. I've been crowned twice. I was not crowned as a princess. I was crowned to represent the women in that group, my age. One time I was 32, and one time I was 65. So I was able to represent those women, carry myself like a lady, help them, always have a younger person with me. When I'm called to go out and speak, I try to make telephone calls, get somebody younger than me to go with me, because this way you learn. Your age group, I take my hat off to you. You fascinate me. You're smart. You got a lot of common sense. You're my future. Without you, then I wouldn't be here. And I tell everybody this, we need your age group. We need the students. We need you in college. I didn't get the education you have. We stopped school in April when the crops went in the field. We went back to school when the cotton come out. That was November. We didn't have to tell the teacher. From 9 years old, we started working in the field. So where you go the whole season, the whole year to school, I would get about maybe 5 months each year. So by 12th grade, I was tired. I was behind, so I decided to go babysit for a year to get out of school. So in the meantime, now I'm in all these universities, and you name it, I've been in about 11 countries, and I'm doing exactly there what I'm doing here. Usually I have a big table with all my carvings all set up. I was asked to come here. I'm always happy when I'm asked to go out, just to say, ask the people when they take you to the American Indian, ask them to show you that tribal card. If they don't have that tribal card, tell them to give you the reason why. If the government says we have to have a tribal card to prove who we are, that's exactly what we should do. I don't break the law. I don't make the law. I try to abide by it. And if I don't abide by it, I can't ask my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids. With my mom, from her, my mama was born in 1914. Her granddaddy, her daddy, Zion Horner Wilkins. Her great-granddaddy was Wellington Wilkins. Her great-great-granddaddy was Jack Wilkins. And then there was Thomas Wilkins. We go back 5 generations from Mama. Then I start with my kids, my grandkids, and my great-grandkids. I don't know another family in my tribe that goes back 9 generations. Do you know who your people is? If you don't, start asking. Ask your mother, ask your aunt, ask somebody in the family. I've never had a problem of being in that circle of life. I'm in a circle of life that is good. I say in circle of life, there's no beginning, there's no end, there's no one up front, there's no one left behind. In his eyes, we're all the same. Now we call him Shepherd Chief, we call him the Creator, it's just plain old God. And I'm able to go into schools and say that. I've been called down a couple of times, I used to have a contract, it tells you what I'm going to say in that classroom. I've been called by the principals and some parents, and I say, well, young fellow in 7th grade asked me, is it true those American Indians only worship cows? I never heard that. I had to milk that cow every morning. From the time I was 12, I didn't like it. And I had to drag her out in the field to make sure she had grass to eat all that day. When I come in from school, I had to drag her back to the house and feed her and give her some water and milk her again. But I never once worshipped her. Sometimes I wanted to kick her. Other times I wanted somebody else to do that work. So So I have not stopped doing what my grandparents did, what my great-grandparents did.
I think that is so important to build upon what your grandparents did and what your great-grandparents did, and to find out more about them so that you can gain from that. And now I give you the thing you've been all waiting for, the greatest moment to kick off your new year. Eugene Black Crow is going to teach us how to count to 3 in Lakota. Now, this is really important because, like I said, it's building upon that which your grandparents and our grandparents left for us. So, let's learn how to do this. Let's learn how to count to 3 in Lakota. Now, Eugene, how do you count to 10 in Lakota?
Manji, Numpa, Yamani, Lopa, Zampta, Shakpe, Shakowi, Shagloha, Napchunka, Ukchemena.
What's number 1?
Manji,
Wanji.
Manji,
How do you say 2?
Numpa,
Numpa. Numpa is 2. How do you say 3?
Yamani,
Yamani is 3. Yamani. So let's go over them again. 1, 2, 3.
Manji, Numpa, Yamani.
Wanji, Numpa, Yamani. 1, 2, 3. Wanji, Numpa, Yamani.
Manji, Numpa, Yamani.
Boys and girls, you try it.
Manji, Numpa, Yamani.
Good job. Oh, the places you'll go, the places you'll go. Happy New Year.
Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. Oh, the places you'll go. Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss, Random House, New York. Congratulations! Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the one who'll decide where to go. You'll look up and down streets. Look 'em over with care. About some you will say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not-so-good street. And you may not find any you'll want to go down. In that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town. It's opener there, in the wide open air. Out there, things can happen, and frequently do, to people as brainy and footsy as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew, just go right along. You'll start happening too. Oh, the places you'll go. You'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who soar to high heights. You won't lag behind because you'll have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang and you'll soon take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. I'm sorry to say so, but sadly it's true that bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You can get all hung up in a prickly perch, and your gang will fly on. You'll be left in a lurch. You'll come down from the lurch with an unpleasant bump, and the chances are then that you'll be in a slump. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. You will come to a place where the streets are not marked. Some windows are lighted, but mostly they're darked. A place you could sprain both your elbow and chin. Do you dare to stay out? Do you dare to go in? How much can you lose? How much can you win? And if you go in, should you turn left or right? Or right and 3/4, or maybe not quite? Or go around back and sneak in from behind? Simple, it's not, I'm afraid you will find, for a mind maker-upper to make up their mind. You can get so confused that you'll start in to race down long, wiggled roads at a breaknecking pace and grind on for miles across weirdish, wild space, headed, I fear, towards a most useless place, the waiting place. For people just waiting. Waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mail to come, or the rain to go, or the phone to ring, or the snow to snow, or waiting around for a yes or no, or waiting for their hair to grow. Everyone is just waiting. Waiting for the fish to bite, or waiting for wind to fly a kite, or waiting around for Friday night, or waiting perhaps for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to boil, or a better break, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone is just waiting. No, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape all that waiting and staying. You'll find the bright places where boom bands are playing. With banner flip-flapping once more, you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky. Ready because you're that kind of a guy. Oh, the places you'll go. There is fun to be done. There are points to be scored. There are games to be won. And the magical things you can do with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame. You'll be famous as famous can be, with the whole wide world watching you win on TV. Except when they don't. Because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too. Games you can't win, 'cause you'll play against you. All alone. Whether you like it or not, alone will be something you'll be quite a lot. And when you're alone, there's a very good chance you'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. There are some down the road between hither and yon that can scare you so much you won't want to go on. But on you will go, though the weather be foul. On you will go, though your enemies prowl. On you will go, though the hack-in cracks howl. Onward, up many a frightening creek, though your arms may get sore and your sneakers may leak. On and on you will hike, and I know you'll hike far and face up to your problems, whatever they are. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with care and great tact, and remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. Well, 98 3/4% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains. So, be your name Buxom, or Bixby, or Bray, or Mordecai Ally Van Allen O'Shea, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting. So, get on your way.
If you get 10 of them in here in a room, all 10 of them will have a lot of differences about where the civilization started, what we did, who did it, and where. Okay? White people agree on their history, even if it's a lie, they agree on it. Patrick Henry, they agree on that, Marco Polo, whoever it is, they agree. Yep, that's what he did. Yep, that's what they did. They don't have an argument about what the truth is. They just came together, decided on what the history is going to be, and then that's what they accepted, and that's what they teach their children, and that's what they teach our children.
It's not hating white people, not wanting to do to white people what they have done to black and other people of color, but to replace the system of racism, white supremacy, with a system of justice so that there can be peace on the planet.
The history here in this state, in this Commonwealth, It's not a pretty history. On either side, there's the swindle of the walking purchase, the walking swindle. A treaty in Albany that moved Muncie, Lenape, totally on the other side of the Allegheny Mountain, on the Cadena Mountains. And who was part of that treaty? The Haudenosaunee, the Iroquois. This is what happens when power starts distorting the good mind. That's what the Iroquois called the good mind. And it happened. We can't deny it happened. The fighting that happened in the 1750s, right through Pontiac's uprising, was horrendous on both sides. Absolutely horrendous. You, as she said, have such faith in the new people and the young people because you're willing to actually face up to it. I don't. You folks, your generation, lying doesn't seem to be a good part of what you are, other than maybe, personal relationships with a boyfriend, girlfriend. But other than that, I mean, that's fair. But other than that, when you look at your own family's history, when you look at your own nation's history, you folks are honest about it. And that's great. That is the way it should be. You don't try to hide anything. You don't sweep anything under rugs. Everything I've seen from your generation shows that you folks look at things in the right way, the good way. It's called the good mind. So continue. We count on you. We count on you. Your children count on you. 7 generations from now counts on decisions you make today. No matter what they are, it's going to affect somebody 7 generations away.
Somewhere around 1698, 1700, the Tayak would leave the Kaya Fort. And the reason he left and came here was because they could not go back and resettle on the land that had been promised to them in the reserved areas, one being Piscataway, which was a manor given to the Piscataway. Supposedly, as long as the waters ran and the grass was green, they were supposed to be able to live there. But while they were at Sakaya Fort, settlers took up residence there and applied for patents and would not leave Piscataway, nor would they leave any of the other towns along the Potomac, nor the Patuxent River, so that the natives could resettle. Many left, came here to this island with the Tayak and settled here for quite a few years. It wasn't the first time they had been here. This island, like many of the islands in this river, had been occupied for various reasons, most for raising corn and for gathering plants, both for food and for medicine. And in this river still today, you will find fish weirs. So the fish runs, the Andromedus fish that will come up this river in the spring for their runs to lay their eggs, many were trapped and caught and dried or prepared in some way for storage for winter food. That was a great store of fish. Still today, those fish run in this river. And because of the material that those weirs were made of, they're still in the river. So they figured the population to be between 300 and 400 souls, not realizing most of the men were away at that time hunting. That was their, not just their pastime, but they had to provide meat for their families and their extended families. So many of the men were away from their island. So we think that that count, that head count of 80 or 90 men is far short of what the population actually was. We know from writers like Sims stated that most of the tribe left this island after the epidemic and returned to Southern Maryland. Most of the Choctaw returned en masse and returned to their reservation land down in St. Mary's County. That wouldn't have a happy ending either, but they did return, and many of the Piscataway chose never to leave. And that's something that you find all over this globe. People simply will not leave their homeland and the graves of their ancestors because they're under some type of duress.
Oh, hey! Where's your stick? Hey, man. Give it to me. Grand entry in 5 minutes. 5 minutes for grand entry. Oh, hey! Where's your stick? Here.
Did a bunch of this while ago when they put up their speakers. That's what they use them all on the speakers.
Can I have your attention, please? We have asked one of our tribal elders here, one of our spiritual leaders, to bless these grounds here, and he is going to smoke the sacred pipe and bless these grounds here. So if we can have your attention, please, and if you would stand while he is praying and blessing these grounds, we'll do that before we start. With all of our Indian traditions and our customs, we always start everything with a prayer to the Creator, and the sacred pipe was given to the Indian people, and we use that. So if we can have your attention, please. Country song by the Red Thunder Juniors. Hawkeye! We have the Eagle Staff carried by Brody Short from Bismarck, North Dakota. We have the Canadian flag carried by George Nepatone from Yellow Quill, Saskatchewan. We have the American flag carried by Brandon Longy of Belcourt, North Dakota. We have a royalty here of Little Miss Red Thunder, Little Longy from Belcourt, North Dakota. We have our traditional dancers coming into the arena here. We have the traditional dancers, followed by the children, single hip dancers, fancy shell dancers, and we have a brass dancer. Dance your style. This powwow is for everybody. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the music.
you. Thank you. Espanto Tlapalolis, Miclampa Chaneque, Inyeyan, Indeyauqui, Tezcatlipoca, Insejecaya, Tegipto, Tomaya, Sofana Tecocoltin, Tlapa Chaneque, Indehuan, Yauquisque, Huitzilopochtli, Incalcito, Indeyan, Tetzahuic, Tezcatlipoca, Sotzona Tecocoltin, Nahui. Tlapalolis, Totonamí, Chipintontlin, Huaucleguamí, Sotzona Tecocoltin, Nahuili. Ascanto Tlapalolis, Iguayma Huestic, Totlanansi, Minanagua, Ticuatlico, Chachiplico, Tlatecuitli, Tlalcilla, Sotzona Tecocoltin, Tonancintlali, Mother Earth, Chihuahua.
In the long ago, Beaver was very great. Beaver walked on its hind legs and stood upright. Beaver grew as tall as any man. And furthermore, beaver were very intelligent and deeply spiritual. As my brother said, the beaver had the capacity to manipulate the environment to make it more hospitable, not just for itself, but for others as well. Beavers also had great families that would work together to build lodges. And the lodges that Beaver constructed were so well made that they did not need firewood in the cold months because it was always comfortable. Beavers never had to make clothing or robes of any kind because they had fur, beautiful fur that protected it. Beaver also had very sharp teeth, which it would use to fell trees that would help its brother, the two-leggeds, whom Beaver had grown to pity. And all Beaver would ask in exchange for the trees was just some of the soft bark and twigs that it could feed on in the winter. Because in the summer months, Beaver was always at the bottom of lakes and streams digging for roots and other greens. The people learned many things just by observing the beaver. For one thing, beavers bathe several times a day, and soon the people began to adopt these habits of grooming and cleanliness. Beaver also raised excellent children. They were both industrious and respectful. Soon, the human beings began to adapt the parenting ways of Beaver. But Beaver worked very, very hard to do good deeds that would benefit everyone in the community. They never quarreled amongst themselves. and they never made enemies of their neighbors. And the one other thing that beavers did was they never grew jealous when others would excel. And so it came to pass that beaver prospered more than the human beings. And the Anishinaabe sent forth a delegation of elders to speak to Creator, to remind him that human beings were supposed to be the greatest of all creation, and to tell him that beaver had gone beyond humans and prospered in many ways. The people demanded that Creator return everything to its original roles and reduce the stature and power of beaver. Creator listened and spoke and said, if the human beings need an advantage in order to prosper more than beaver, then I will reduce the stature of beaver, and I will make it so that beaver will only want to live in and on the water. Well, the elders were very, very pleased at this, and they returned to their lodges happy. Beaver did not diminish all at once, but each generation grew shorter than the next one until we have the beaver the size that it is today. But Creator allowed beaver to keep all of its original personality characteristics. They are still industrious, intelligent, and generous. They still modify their environment. They still create excellent lodges, which they share with their extended family and others. To this day, beavers never quarrel with each other, and they have very, very few enemies. Beaver's greatest enemy is man. Man, who learned so much from his little brother, but did not learn the most important lesson of all, which was the value of inclusive communities.
Between tribes that did not involve the transfer of land, wampum belts were exchanged. And it would be a good thing today to find out where those belts are, but who knows. But I shall now put the mic over to another chief.
Wingapo. Hello, I am Frank Adams. I'm from Virginia, the chief of the Upper Mattaponi tribe, and I feel your struggles because the Virginia tribes have gone through the same struggles. Our tribal center is about 40 miles from so we, like Lenape and all the tribes on the East Coast, we were first contact Indians, and it was a struggle. They took our lands, they tried to push us west to get us out of the way, but we persevered. We're still here. And so 24 years ago now, six of the Virginia tribes started pursuing getting federally recognized. And it took us 20 years and several $1 million in lobbyist fees to get that wrong righted. But we did. We got federal recognized in January of 2018. So we are now in the process of building our village and helping our people. But I'm so happy to be here today. My first time to this park. is because so many of our tribal citizens left Virginia because of the racial laws and the racial mistreatment of our native people and moved to Philadelphia. So our second biggest settlement of Upper Mattaponi citizens is based right here in the city of Philadelphia. And so it's like a second coming of home for me, because I'm seeing cousins and stuff that some of them I see often and some of them I see every 3 or 4 years, or when we have our powwow in May. So it's a good feeling, and I'm just so proud to be invited and to be a part of this celebration. Thank you.
And so, this was just a demonstration, a sample, to give you an idea of what we can do in terms of assisting you to understand and have the full story of what it means to be a human being born on this land. It's important that you know the full story, the feeling that you feel now, and you want to know more. And so, we brought these people here. Barton as well, would you like to say words? Yes, from the Lenape Nation, to tell you this history and give you that feeling of completeness.
Wanishi, everybody. That means thank you in my language, in Delaware language. I'm honored to here to speak upon you and asking the Kishilamakon, the creator of all things, that I want him to bless the city of Philadelphia, so maybe the gun violence will stop. At least this, you're killing everybody. It's not a good thing. It's a good thing to go and just to say hi to your friend, or just to be together with, and be the way William Penn wanted it. He wanted it to be what it was supposed to be, brotherly love. That's what the city of brotherly love was all about. And I wish all the things that would come together so we could see it in good happiness of all the people here. This is the reason why we're here. We're still here. And I thank you for listening to me, because it's a shame that every day I see it on the news that there's a shooting every day. It's a terrible thing. It's a bad, it's just a shame. And I wish you all to have the blessings of what the Creator wanted you to be with, because it's a good thing. And I'm here to represent my nation and the Delaware Nation in Anadarko, Oklahoma. But I live here, and I was born here. And my mom, she was the full-blooded of my family. She came here back in 1960. I mean, I was born in 1958 in Harrisburg, but anyway, that's what I wanted to say to you all. And I appreciate you coming out here, and we'll just have a good time today. Thank you very much. Wanishi.
Thank you. And so, Councilman Squilla, will you please come forward? When you have building openings, when you have graduations, when you have funerals, invite the drum. Give these guys some jobs. Build these nations again. Please say a few words, please.
Thank you. And thank you so much. I want to say what an honor it is to be here today to celebrate part of what history was here, not only in the city of Philadelphia, but our great country. William Penn wanted to treat the Native Americans as equals, and the treaty was supposed to do that at that time. And sometimes, we forget history, and we shouldn't. We need to remember that. But we also need to listen. We need to listen to the people who were here, the Native Americans who were here at that time, and they passed the history along to their young ones, so their young ones understand the history and their culture and what it meant to be here at that time. We have a lot of work to do, and even the people who are of Native Americans sometimes don't always think and believe the same things. We all need to work together, because together our voices are stronger. We work together. We can disagree with each other, but understand that we stand up for each other, right? We have each other's back, and we were going to be there to never forget what happened in the past so that it will never be repeated. And that's the most important part. So thank you all for having me today. It's an honor to be here, and I really appreciate being here also with my state colleagues, Senator Seville, State Rep Hohenstein, and State Rep Isaacson. Thank you so much, and let's enjoy the celebration.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a representative from the Quakers. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I'm State Representative Joe Hohenstein, and as Councilmember Squilla also said, Senator Nikhil Saval is here, and State Rep Mary Isaacson is here. We're actually in Mary's district. My district starts just the other side of that building and goes up 6 miles along the Delaware River. And I, in addition to being an elected official and carrying William Penn's legacy as someone in the state or Commonwealth government of Pennsylvania, I am also a member of the Religious Society of Friends and carry Penn's legacy as a Quaker. And as I said earlier, the Quakers, for all they attempted to do the right thing in certain spaces, they still were colonizers. And we still struggle with the legacy that we have unfulfilled. A legacy that for us in our faith tradition is about peace. And I want to thank Mr. Barton for praying for our city and our gun violence issues here. Thank you. The idea that an oppressed people can still recognize how much their oppressors are suffering that's a good thing. So, but peace is one of our core testimonies. Equality is another, and that is where really sadly we have failed, and that is something that I will continue to work for. And finally, the last thing that I want to mention, because it is so much of the connection to our river and our natural world, I also want to make sure that we are being good stewards to our environment and to our river. It's something that I know I share with my colleague. And just want to say thank you for having us here, and I will hand it off. Mary, you want to come up and say some words? Because Mary Isaacson. There you go.
And thank you for having us here to celebrate this with you. I made sure I had to rush out because I did not want to miss the ceremonies here. And this is my district, and I serve in the Pennsylvania State House. And in Harrisburg, one of the panels above the speaker's rostrum is of this grand park. The Pennsylvania State House obviously existed before the United States, and the painting, the beautiful mural, is of William Penn with the Lenape tribe for all of the rest of the representatives in Harrisburg to sit and stare upon every single day when they're making laws. And you can be sure I like to remind people, especially when we have disagreements, that somehow we have to all come together, because we have to be in the society together and we have to live together. So I want to thank you for bringing all these people here for this celebration today. And thank you for having me.
Senator Isaacson, Representative Isaacson, you can get their phone numbers and call them for advice, right? Yeah, anytime. Senator Saval, please. You know, the important thing about being a good Indian is respecting your elders, your leaders. One issue. No. Okay. Sorry.
Wanishi, thank you, everyone. It's a great honor to be here. Thank you for having me. My name is Nikhil Saval. I represent the 1st Senatorial District, which is all of Center City, and we're in it, of course, right now. It goes up along the river into the river wards. But this is, and forgive me if I pronounce this incorrectly, Lenape Hokeng. This is the original lands of the Lenape. I acknowledge that with every communication that we send out from our office, because we are here, but we are impermanent on this land, and the original stewards of this land, some representatives of whom are here, or should always be acknowledged. Will we acknowledge what has happened to this land since the 17th century? That we have had, it has been a history of colonialism, of expropriation, of exploitation, and in remembering that history, that isn't simply to incapacitate us or to feel that we cannot act. That has been a history that has been experienced across the world and throughout the world. Indigenous peoples in South America, in my own home country of India, have been exploited, and not just by colonialists, but by newer peoples, by newer governments. And so all of that should bind us into a global compact, that in this moment here, in this very regional experience, as we commemorate an occasion that was experienced by very few people in some ways, but now is remembered by more and more. We should connect it to all the events that bind us across the globe as we confront global challenges. Representative Hohenstein mentioned it, the challenge of protecting our earth, of being stewards to the earth, of climate change, the global challenges of caring for one another during a terrible pandemic, of ensuring that all of us have what we need to live and thrive. So in remembering this, I'm just grateful to remember those connections and to make sure that we all fight for them in honor of what we're remembering here today. So thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure. Ishi, do you want to, can you say Wanishi?
Wanishi.
And Senator Saval, is there anything like this in India? A treaty like this, an agreement? The land of India, and really it's the subcontinent of South Asia, because it's been divided, as many people know, into Pakistan and Bangladesh, but the subcontinent has experienced so many waves of migration, of invasion, and of course of colonialism, that there are ways that are marking so many different compacts and meetings and meetings of people, over the course of centuries. And some of them are genuine meetings and moments of peace. Some of them are moments of coercion, of exploitation, and I think all of them are meaningful and are worth commemorating. Even the kind of terrible history that we that in part we remember today as well. So, absolutely, thank you. Thank you. You guys, I'm not from Philadelphia, and I got to tell you, I am deeply impressed. What an extraordinary city you live in. They don't do this for us in Maryland. Do they do this in Virginia? Everybody comes out. I'm just very, very impressed. And I want you all to know how special this moment was, and to take this and tell your friends and your neighbors what you've seen here today. And let's try to build this back up for the peace of our city, our state, and our nation. I just can't remember a moment like this living in New York and Boston and Richmond. I just can't remember a moment like this. It's very special. And so the Native American House Alliance thanks all of you, the politicians and the chiefs who have come here today to make this a sacred and special ceremony for all of you to remember. And be sure to get a program if you have it, because it explains some of the history. And at this time, when we return to the dance arena, we'd like your assistance in honoring the first responders, because we want to show you how Native people do things.
You saw the traditional dance, the intertribal dance, the specialty dances. We also do honor dances for people who have done great things. And each of you know that the first responders have been so vital and essential to us as we come out of this crisis. And so the Powwow Committee wanted you to have a chance to say thank you to the first responders of your city with a special honor dance that all of you can participate in. And so at this time, we'll return back to the dance arena and go under the direction of the great Mr. Yuri Ridgway. Oh, wait, one prayer.
And if people want to know what this land looks like, go up to the bulletin board and you'll see what Penn Treaty Park really looked like. It's in the bulletin board in the front of the park. There was a call for prayer.
You're
First of all, I'd like to say is that, man, we've come a long ways from when I was a little kid coming out here protesting. So that we could stand up and be here today to do things like this. And I really give a lot of thanks to all of those that come before me that stood up to be proud of who they were, proud to be Native, and come up here and protest so that our land could be, we could be part of this land once again. Almost walking walk. Human being, Kishmin. And I thank you, Creator, for this beautiful day. Thank you for this day you've given to us. Thank you for our family. Thank you for our friends. Thank you for allowing us to be human beings, to come back to this land that we call Lenape-Hoking, to this land that we call where our ancestors or the blood of our people are buried, their memories, their thoughts, their actions. We come here today on this land where we made a treaty one time long ago. And we come here today, Kishlaming, to remind all those that are here that we have not forgotten that treaty. We've not forgotten those promises. And we're Kayla Wanishi truly thankful that we're able to speak our languages. We're able to participate in our cultures. We're able to breathe and live in this beautiful way. We're thankful for all those that are around us, for all those that come out here and share in this way, because they want to learn, they want to understand who we are as indigenous people, as the original people of this land. So we offer this, we shot down this tobacco to you, Kishlaming, so that we can be reminded that we come in a pitiful way. We come as a broken people, but we come with a good heart. So we offer this tobacco to you. Okay.
What an incredible show. And that's all we have for this year. We'll be back next year, but I want to take a moment just to thank everyone who participated in this in no matter what a small or large way. These include, of course, the Native American House Alliance of Philadelphia, the American Indian Society of Washington, D.C., the Circle Legacy, of course, the Swan Clan production, which brought us the Song of the Elements and got us started in the right way, the Nanacoke Lenni Lenape Powwow Grand Entry, which was awesome, Spirit Wing, which was the inspiration for the whole thing, and that incredible song, Spirit Keeper. Kaya Little Turtle and the Smithsonian Institute for their presentation from Lumbee Days, which took place at the National Museum of the American Indian. Of course, my boss, Connie DiBelanta, and Jack Johnson for helping me to get this program together and for just me being here today. The Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians powwow was awesome, their grand entry. Barry Lee explaining to us the Two River Agreement. Yapatoko at that incredible live footage from the National Harbor in Washington, D.C. My friend, and now your friend too, Eddie Phoenix, the man. Dude, you would be so lucky to have a friend like Eddie. The Crow Fair powwow, that grand entry, which was awesome. Also, the Native American House Alliance, which presented to us that piece on Native American women's history. Zach and Joseph Greenbaum. Joseph stands with many, telling the story in the film sequence 49. Elder Rico Newman for giving us that incredible greeting in the Lenape spoken in the Piscataway dialect. Barry Lee, who proved that every one of us belongs here. We all have a role to play. Grandma Mardella, who I could listen to all day. Guys, I want to do a show with just Grandma Mardella. Also, Eugene Blackcrow, another one I got to do a show with. He was here courtesy of Indigenous Peoples Day Philadelphia, which is an awesome event if you get down to see it in Philadelphia at Penn Treaty Park, one of the most historically significant locations in Native American history. Also, Naha brought us that sequence of key moments in Native American history. Jessica Snow, another really good friend. Oh, the places you'll go. So awesome. What a beautiful gift. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing for her segment on history and what our future holds if we plan for a community built on justice. Barry Lee again, reminding that your generation has the good mind and that we're all depending on you. We know you're going to come through for us. Naha presented the Lenape people's history, and that was awesome. Elder Rico Newman on the Piscataway tribal history. Also, a moment of history from the Turtle Mountain Indian Reservation in Belcourt, North Dakota. That powwow footage from back in the day. And the footage from the first Indigenous Peoples Parade of New York City. Thank you, Wanishi. Pearlstone of Reisterstown, which gave us the story of Beaver, Reisterstown, Maryland. Great job, you guys. And finally, wrapping it all up at Penn Treaty Park, Shakamaxon, Chief Uri Ridgway. Man, Chief Gould, Chief Adams, Elder Rico Newman. And I don't know if you guys saw this person in there or not, but in that footage is Johnny Blackhawk, one of the greatest warriors of this generation, period. All these people coming together to support you, to support the culture, to support the history, to support the tradition, to support the way of life. We just love it, and we want to support it and support each other. And if you'll support us, well, we'll support you too. And that's going to be our positive notion, our positive idea going forward in the new year. I hope you enjoyed the show. It was a lot of work, but it was given in love, and I hope you loved it or found something to love within it. All the best to you guys. Happy New Year. Great job. Thank you. Oh, Wanishi. Wanishi.